If you're serious about reaching financial freedom and buying that dream house, you can't afford to keep making the same investing mistakes. Learn my proven framework today and stop wasting precious time and money. Welcome to the channel, friends. You've been there, right? Staring at your portfolio, seeing red, feeling that sinking pit in your stomach. You followed the hype, chased the next big thing on social media, maybe even tried to day trade because everyone else was doing it. And what happened? You got burnt, you lost money, you lost time, and worst of all, you lost confidence. But here's the thing that most people don't talk about. It's not just about how you invest, it's also about how much you invest. And for many of you, the biggest barrier to building that wealth isn't the market, it's the hidden leaks in your own wallet. You're cutting spending to invest, but what if you're doing it wrong? So in this video, I'm going to show you how you can actually end up with more money to actually invest in the markets, to then potentially grow your money even quicker. When it comes to investing, most of us, we get paid from our employers. We pay off whatever we need to pay, our bills, etc. And then the money that's left over, we either then spend it on things that we don't really need, and the rest that's left, we then consider putting that into actual investments. And that's where we go wrong, because we leave investing as the lowest priority, last thing that we do. But let's just focus on actually increasing that amount that we can actually put into investments in the first place. And the way to look at it is, you got two things that determine how much money you've got left to invest. The first thing is your income, and the second thing is your expenditure. So if you can master the income and the expenditure, then you have much more money left that you can actually put into investments. So I'm going to show you how I do it, and I recommend that you all do something similar as well. So the first thing I want everyone to do is to get a piece of paper and pen and to look at their last 3 to 6 months of bank statements and look at where all the money is coming in from and where all the money is going. So once you have a look at this, you'll have an idea of what you can do in terms of maximizing the amount that you can invest. So focusing on the first part, the money coming in, the first thing that you can do is you can increase your income. And there are numerous ways to actually do this, and the most common way that you can do this is by doing extra shifts. So when you're at work, just asking the employer to give you more hours essentially. And that in itself will increase your income. But you don't have to do that. There's other things that you can do. So the next thing that you can do is you can actually negotiate your salary. So every year, most employers here in the UK, they do something called an appraisal, where they talk about how you did in your job and potentially give you a pay rise accordingly. So this is your opportunity to actually negotiate your salary and prove to them that you're actually worth more. And this, again, is there to increase your income. And if your salary is not being increased and you're getting better at your job over time, then sometimes you just need to change jobs. And as hard as it is to hear, unfortunately here in the UK, loyalty is not rewarded. By staying in the same job for a very long amount of time, it's not generally rewarded accordingly in terms of your salary. I know a few people where they've changed jobs pretty much every year and have worked their way up the salary ladder in that sense. But even if we don't look at work, there's other things that we can always do. So the other way that you can increase your income is by just selling unwanted items in your house. We all have stuff that we don't really use anymore or we don't need. So it might just be worth just listing it on something like Facebook Marketplace or any other website where you can sell items and getting money for it. This will increase your income. And the other thing that you can do is start a side hustle. So start your own business or start your own hobby and charge for it. So these are things that you can do to increase your income. And the result of that is you'll have more money to actually put into the markets and invest and grow your wealth faster. So that's the income side of things. Then you've got the expenditure side of things. So what can you do in order to reduce your expenditure so that you have more money left over at the end? And reducing expenditure is actually more easy to do than increasing income. The first thing that you can do is you can actually cut down your subscriptions. We all have subscriptions that we don't use. Some people, they pay for gym, but they never actually go gym. Some people, they pay for Netflix, they don't actually use Netflix. So you need to go through what you're actually paying for and cancel what you don't actually use. That's the first thing. The second thing is I recommend that you use a SIM only plan. And what I mean by this is with your mobile phone contracts, a lot of companies, they offer a price for the phone and the SIM card that you actually pay. But what's actually way more cheaper is if you have the SIM only contract, so you're paying just for the SIM card, just for the data and the calls every single month, and then the phone itself, you can just buy that second hand from a local phone shop or even Facebook Marketplace. So doing this actually works out cheaper in the long run. The next thing that you can do is meal prep. So in hospital, a lot of doctors that I work with, they buy lunch from the canteen every single day. So that's a minimum of £5 every day that they're spending. And that's £25 just in a week. £100 a month, over £1,000 in a year. It's a very large amount of money just on food, which doesn't really fill you up. So what you can do for something like this is actually meal prep at home. So make something over the weekend, or make something before the shifts, or if you have some leftover food from the last night, maybe bring that in as a packed lunch. And doing things like that will save you money and reduce your expenditure. The other things that you can do is when you go for grocery shopping, actually taking a list with you rather than just freestyling it when you go there. And the reason this will reduce your expenditure is because when you have a list, you're more likely to be disciplined and only buy things which are on the list. If it's not on the list, you don't need to buy it because it's not something that you need. The other things that you can do is you can downgrade the car that you use. A lot of people just use fancy cars like BMW, Mercedes, Teslas just to impress others more than themselves. So something like this, it can be downgraded if needed. The next thing that you can do is negotiating your bills. A lot of bills, if you don't negotiate it, they will increase every single year. And I'm going to use my car insurance as an example. My car insurance last year, I paid about £600. And this year when I got my renewal letter, they increased the price to about £700. I've not had an accident, I've not had anything change in the last year, but suddenly my insurance are charging £100 more. So what I did was I went on a website called Compare the Market and I compared the different car insurance out there, and I actually got a cheaper deal than what I paid last year. So you can do that with all of your bills. You can do that with your SIM only deals, you can do that with your insurance, you can do that with your broadband, and lots of bills. The next thing that you can do to reduce the expenditure, which is linked to the bills, is to pay annually. Certain bills, if you pay monthly as opposed to all in one annually, they do charge you interest. So car insurance is a perfect example. If I wanted to pay my car insurance monthly, they add interest to the payments, so I end up paying more over the year compared to if I had just paid one annual payment. So for that reason, me personally, I pay my car insurance annually. The next thing you can do is when you go to grocery shopping is to actually bulk buy your stuff. So sometimes you have a deal where, it's £2 for example, as opposed to £1.50 each. If you know that it's going to be used up, then it's definitely worth getting that discount by bulk buying. And the final thing I wanted to say is to share subscriptions. Certain subscriptions, it can be shared. So for example, if you look at your iCloud storage on your iPhone, then if you have a family and everyone's paying the plan individually, it works out more expensive than if you were to just get a family plan and share the storage with everyone. So these are things that you can consider doing, and these will all reduce the expenditure. And the result of all of this is, number one, you increase your income. Number two, you reduce your expenditure, and as a result you have more money left over per month, and that means you got more money to invest into the markets, which means you are likely to achieve your goals sooner. So what I want everyone to do is to sit down, look at their bank statements for the last 3 to 6 months and see where they can actually increase their income as well, and make a plan in terms of how they're actually going to do things. And if you found this video and you want to know more, please like and subscribe. And if you want to see the 6 things that I wish I knew before I started investing, then click over here.